Hi there, this is Jeff, and I'm going to walk you through how to get the artwork ready for the 48-inch wide silver step retractable banner stand. And so to start off with, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take the template and just drag it into Photoshop. And it's going to ask me a couple questions before it opens, and the first is the crop to. We want to make sure that this is set on media box, which it is. And then for the resolution, make sure that this is 125 dpi. So it does get printed out full size, and that is the correct DPI for large format printing. For the color mode, make sure it's on CMYK. If for some reason it's on RGB, go ahead and switch that over and make sure it's CMYK. Go ahead and click OK, and this is actually going to pull open the full-size template that you're going to use to create your design. And what you want to do is you actually want to design right on top of this template, and that way you know that the proportions are going to be correct, the size is going to be correct, and everything else. And you just want to keep in mind one thing. Keep the template as its own separate layer. So as you begin adding everything in, like your logos and your pictures, just keep the template as its own layer over here on the right. And that's because in the end, what you're going to do is you're either going to hide it or just delete it altogether and be left with your final artwork. So moving on, you see here on the template itself, you see there's two different shades. There's the lighter blue and there's the darker blue on the top. And this is simply to show that the minimum size banner for the height is going to be at this line right here. It's actually 69 inches tall. So from the bottom here to this line is 69 inches. That's the minimum size needed to install this banner into the stand. But you can actually design all the way up to 92 inches. So this is the maximum height right here. And I recommend actually designing the full size, the maximum height. And the reason why is the pole that's used in the back to hold the banner up is actually telescopic. And it will allow you to adjust the banner anywhere in between the minimum and the maximum. So you can actually lower the banner down or raise it all the way up to 92 inches. So keep that in mind when you're designing. I usually design all, around the entire thing, and just keep that in mind. Also, there is going to be a top clamp bar that's used, and it actually just holds the banner on the top here. So along the top, just keep any text or logos or anything at least an inch or so away from the top, and that's because about a half an inch is going to get eaten up by the clamp bar. So you do want to go ahead and extend the background all the way to the very outer edges, all the way around. Just keep all the important information like text, like logos, at least a couple inches away from the edge, and you'll be fine. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to show you an example of some artwork that fits the template really well, and it'll give you an idea of what we're looking for. Okay, so here is some artwork that fits the template really well, and I know that because if I go over to the artwork layer and I right click on it and I go to blending options, I can change the opacity down and actually reveal the template right underneath it. And so this is really useful to be able to show the position of everything and just get a general feel for your layout. Once you know that everything looks good, you can go ahead and press cancel. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to check the resolution. And there is a simple way of doing that to go ahead and inspect all your pictures. This is a big banner, but we want to really make sure nothing is pixelated or blurry. And to do that, you press Control and plus on a PC or Command and plus on a Mac. And you zoom all the way in until on your ruler bar, you have about 1 inch in real life. So here's 22 inches, here's 23 inches, and that's about 1 inch in real life on my screen. And so now I can use the navigator tool and I can just comb around, and I'm just looking and inspecting all the elements here and making sure that it's crisp and that nothing is pixelated. So once it looks good, you can press Control and minus or Command and minus on a Mac and zoom all the way back out. And at this point, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and save a copy of the working layered file for your own records. So if you need to go back and you need to make any changes now or in the future, you'll have that file. Because at this point, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take that step to delete the template layer. Now, you can either hide it, or I usually just drag it into the trash can and delete it altogether. Now we're just left with our final artwork. And we have one last step that we want to do before we go ahead and save it, and that is to flatten the artwork. And you can do that by going to Layer and then click Flatten Image. And what that's going to do is it's just going to compress all those layers together, and so that we have one final design all locked in place. And if you used any fonts or any objects on your machine, sometimes they can get a little messed up if I don't have maybe those fonts on my machine. They'll try to substitute them. And so when you go to flatten it, it actually will just lock everything in place. And so what you see on your screen is going to be what I see on my screen. And that's very useful. And so at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and save it. And to do that, you go to File and you click Save As, and you want to go ahead and save this as a high quality PDF. So just make sure it's high quality, save it as a PDF, and that's going to be the print ready artwork that you're going to use to upload. So if you have any questions, obviously feel free to help or leave a comment. Thanks.